Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make Kyoka Jiro from My Hero Academia. Now, I've made these models before of different characters. So far I have Todoroki and Ochako Uraraka, but today we're going to be making Kyoka Jiro. Now, what you're going to need is a bunch of pieces. You're going to need 88 blue, 58 purple, 15 peach, and 20 white. Now, one of the peach, I have another piece unfolded off to the side, but one of the peach cannot be folded because those you'll use to cut out for her earphones. Now, if you don't know how to make these pieces, I have a video in my channel that teaches you how to do it. So if you don't know how to do it, then just go watch that video, get a bunch of these folded, and then come back to this video for the tutorial. So this one is going to start off the same way that most of them do. You're going to make the uniform, and so you're going to need a glue stick. I'd recommend 2 if you use a lot of glue when you're putting this together. However, you're just going to start off the same way that you do with all the models. So you take a white piece, then another white piece, and then get glue in each of those pockets, and stick it on there, and then you're going to get a blue piece, stick it in that pocket, and then you can see how that matches up right there at the bottom. So then you're going to get another white piece, stick it on there, another blue piece right there, and then you're going to get 2 white pieces. One goes on top, one goes on the bottom row, and then you're going to continue this, or you're going to continue as blue, not white, just blue, for the rest of the way around. Whoops. And for the rest of the way around, all the way around the bottom of the model. Alright, so once you have 12 on the bottom row, and then 11 on the top row, it'll look something like this. And what you're going to want to do is just get a blue piece, get some glue in the pockets, and then stick one end of the blue and one end of the white into the pockets. Then make sure that's on pretty well. Then you'll have the base started. So then, for the second row, we're going to keep modeling this. So the second row starts with these 3. So then you want to go on top of that. So then there's 1 white above each of these bottom ones, and then 2 blue above each of these bottom 2 blues. So we'll do that. Get 1 white, and then the bottom white is right there, so we'll move it to right there. Then we get 2 blues on top of the white, and then 1 more white. And then, since this part doesn't start until higher up, you can just do the rest of the row blue. So then you just get blue pieces, then do the rest of the row as blue. Alright, so once you have the third row done, you'll see it starts to make this star pattern, and we don't want that. We want it to go up, not out. So what you'll do is very carefully bend it like that. Bend the tips inward, and then bend this part outward. Make sure not to bend it too far to where it starts ripping, but bend it enough to where you can hold it like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put all of these pieces on there to make sure it stays going up and not out. So all you need for that is just some blue pieces. I typically tend to flatten them down so that they use up less space. And then the way that you glue these ones on is you just take the tips of these, you kind of scrape some glue off, and then you insert it into two of the pockets. Now this will be a little bit difficult, so just try to like wiggle it in there. So then get another one, scrape some glue on the tips, wiggle it into the socket, and something to remember is that you need to try and get it as flat as possible, just flush. Otherwise, if it's not flush, then it'll tip around whenever you lay it down. So then you'll need 12 of the blue to do the entire ring just like that, and it will end up being a little bit spiraled like that. Alright, so now that we've got that base and it's staying upright, we can move on to the fourth layer. So on here, the fourth layer has 3 white above these 3 white, and then it doesn't have anything but blue on the rest of it. So that's exactly what we're going to do on this model. So then 3 white, like that, and then blue around the rest of the row. Just the rest of the row all the way around. Alright, so once you have that row, the next row is going to be entirely blue. Probably one of the most simple layers. So then you just get the blue and put it over the entire row. So then do that for the entire row. Alright, so once you have that row down, the next row is where you're going to add this front section as well as this back section. The front section is always easier to do first because then you can base the back section off of where you placed the front section. So then you're going to need 3 white, and just place it above these 3 white. And then what you're going to do is get this and then basically mirror it. So this one is exactly opposite of this. So you're going to end up putting one there, putting one there, and putting one there. So you see they're equal distance apart. So then you can just take them off, put glue on them, and put them back on. So then once you have those 2 sets of 3 done, you're going to fill in between with blue on both sides. Then that's that side done. If I'm going too fast, then go ahead and just pause the video until you've caught up. And then, so once you have this layer done, there's these two just on the upper left of each one, upper left and upper right of each one of these, and that's on both sides. And then that'll be the last of the white for the uniform. Now keep in mind, this design for the uniform is for class 1A, not class 1B or 1C. And if I decide to, I'll make a model of somebody in class 1A or 1B, or in class 1B or 1C, but I need to create a new design for that. So then, once you have each of those pieces on both sides, you're going to fill in blue between them. So that it creates that kind of boxy-ish shape. Then you do that on the other side. And then in between here, you'll just put two blue. Alright, then do that on the other side. Alright, so once you have that down, we'll add the layer to separate the body from the head. And what that's just going to be is the last 12 of the blue, you're going to put on top of this, but you're going to put them a special way, in that you don't put them like this. You turn them around and put them backwards, like that. And you don't need to press down too hard, otherwise they'll split. But again, you just put it on backwards. And there's a reason for this. So, on the model, you can see that these pieces line up, but there should be a layer in between where it's 2, 1, 2, but then there's 2 instead of 2, 1, 2. So that layer is there, however, when it's backwards, and then you put another piece on, the tip of it ends up hiding it, which creates a separation to make kind of primitive neck. So then once you've put all of them on backwards, then you can move on to the head. Alright, so once that row is done, you can bring in the peach and the purple for the head. Now, for each character, the head is going to be different. The face will generally be a peach color for just normal light skin, but the hair will differ depending on which character you do. For instance, Todoroki, I had to do half white, half black, or half white, half red, sorry. Then Ochako, I had to find a darkish brown. Then I had this purple for Jiro. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, so see how there's 1, 2, 3, 4 peach on the bottom, and then 3 peach above it. So you're going to want to do that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just going to want to make them right above those, the 4 peach at the start, to start off the face. Alright, so I'm gonna go get a new glue stick because, like I said, this project is very glue intensive. So I'll be right back. Alright, so now that I've got a new glue stick, we can continue. So, like I said, there's the 3 peach on top of the 4 peach. So then, just do that. And the reason I'm not doing it as a full layer quite yet is because it's easier to do the face first, or at least start on the face, and then do the hair, because it kind of separates it so you don't end up mixing the colors. Not that it's too hard to separate them, but it's just more time you have to spend on the project. This glue is being a little difficult. Alright, so something I do is, once I have the 4 and the 3, I get whichever color I have for the hair and put one next to the blue, and then get another one, then put it half on the purple, half on the peach, so that you can keep going with the face. Whoops. Sorry about that. I don't really have a stand. But anyways, so once you have that purple on both sides, you can do 4 peach on top of the 3 peach, and it'll overlap the purple. Then once you have that 4 done, you can do the last 3 that you folded, and put them on top of the 4 that you just glued. Alright, so that's all of the skin for that. Now you'll notice this back half is not full. So what you want to do is just take the hair, or whichever hair color you have, in this case purple, and then just continue the row all the way around, and then continue this row all the way around, and then just add rows until it's the same height as these 3 on top. Alright, so that's the first row of purple done. And then what you want to do is just continue that second row. And then after the second row, we'll move on to the next row. Alright, so that's the second row. Now the third row will be on the same level as the second row of 4 peach. So like that. And then you'll just continue that all the way around. So then once you have the third row done, you'll do the fourth row, and that'll make it flush with the top row of peach. Alright, so once you have that row done, you're going to use the last of your purple pieces to make 2 rows of entirely purple, kind of like it does on here with the brown, but instead for purple. Alright, so once you have the hair done, you'll put in the hands. Now, one of that 15th piece, or I actually lied, you need 16 pieces. One of them is for the hands, one of them is for her earphone jacks. But the 15th piece, what you're going to do is just take some scissors and then get an angle like that, and then just cut it like that. So then you don't need that part, and then these parts will be the hands. So then what I do is I stick the hands between this white piece and this blue piece. So then, to make sure that they stay there, you want to scrape a little bit of glue onto them, and then stick them in there, like that. Then you do the same thing for the other one. So then once you have those hands done, you can move on to the face. Now, what I've done is took a few tries, but I drew the eyes, the mouth, and the little mark on her hair. And so I just used some, or you can't see it on the camera, but I used some kind of like glittery gel pens just to kind of add to the detail of the model, for at least the colors of those. But you're going to want to cut these out. I'm probably going to use this one instead of that mouth, but you're going to want to cut these out, and then I'll show you how to glue them on. Alright, so now I've got everything cut out. I'm going to take one of the pieces and rub it across the glue stick gently to get some glue on it. Now, this is going to be a little bit difficult just because it's kind of fragile, but just figure out which pieces you want it to be on, like that, and that's good. Now, do the same thing for the mouth. Then you can stick it on and reposition it however you like. So then the eyes, do the same thing. And then the positioning can be however you feel like. It all depends on what you think looks nice. If this will stay on there. Trying to get it as even as possible. There we go. So then, these tiny little things down here, if I can get them to stay on. These are the little marks on her cheek. So then, these, I'll just put it right underneath the eyes, because that's generally where it goes in the anime. And with these ones, they can be a little difficult just because they're so small. But once you get them, with glue on them and everything, and then you attach them to the face. Once you've adjusted it however you like, there we go. I think that's good. Alright, so then you're going to cut out the earrings. Alright, so I have one right here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I colored the end of it to make it distinguishable. So then you want to get a little bit of glue on the end, and then just right here, stick it right there. And then, if you can, get something to push it to where it blends in with the face, because that's the goal. And then I'll make this darker so that it's easier to see. Alright, so now that I've added her earphone jacks, the model is complete.